1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm close to being able to start taking guys that aren't necessarily good without Metalcraft. Here I'm going to take an artifact. Trigon of Corruption. Definitely seems alright. I might wield this Luminger Drake. Golem Artisan, which is another 5 mana spell. I'm getting a little bit heavy at the 5 mana. But how good is Sylvok Replica going to be for me? I have 2 mirrors. The replicas, they're nice on the replicas. Really, it belongs more in an aggressive deck, or like an abundance. You need an abundance of replicas, or more 2-drops than I have already. I am looking to maybe get another mirror, which there is one here, but it's off color, and with triples and double blues, and then either a double black or double red. Probably the double black, I think, at this point. I'm gonna take the Artisan. You could potentially replace a Sky Eel School. There's not much for me here. Definitely don't need another 5-drop. I'm just going to take the Instill Infection. And I think I have decided on black here. Bleak Coven Vampires is pretty decent here, but it's another 5-drop. I think it's safe to say Clone Shell is not going to make the cut at this point. Throne of Geth doesn't do much for me. It helps with Instill Infection and Trigon of Corruption, but I don't think that's enough. Neurok Invisimancer, this isn't really the deck for it. I can get an early blocker in Memnite, but without a Trinket Mage, it doesn't seem so good. Throne of Geth or Bleak Coven Vampires. I'll lean towards the Bleak Coven Vampires. I don't think I'm going to get enough what's it called, things to replicate, or whatever it's called, proliferate. So Blister Grub, Liquid Metal Coating doesn't do anything in this deck, other than sort of help get to Metalcraft, but it's not enough of a reason. Take an Invisimancer or a Blister Grub here. I mean, Invisimancer is like a Blister Grub that's always unblockable. It's slightly more fragile. There's also Darksteel Mirror, but I don't like the main deck Darksteel Mirror. It's fine out of a sideboard. I have enough good blockers as it is, though, with the 2 replicas. I'll take the Invisimancer. So here's an interesting one. I have Thrumming Bird, Fume Spitter. I'm not going to take another Scale of School. I'm at my cap of 5-drops. Side Barrage Ogre. Thrumming Bird actually is an early drop, and this goes well with Trigon of Corruption and Instill Infection. Fume Spitter is also nice as an early drop, but I think Thrumming Bird has more potential here. It's close. Not much I want here. Turn Aside is fine in the sideboard. Quarter Shield doesn't do that much here. Helps me get to Metalcraft, but I don't know if I'm ever going to see myself wanting to spend a turn equipping it to something. I don't get much benefit out of that. Like, attaching it to Flyer is fine, like you fly over their head and block something. Oh. Whoopsies. Let's get rid of that. Ah, I meant to take the... Oh, I got it anyway. I would have gotten another one anyway. Between Wall of Tanglecord and Exsanguinate, it's... Well, I don't think I need more late game things. I do like Exsanguinate in this kind of a control deck. It does give you a way of recovering much needed life, but Bleak Cloven Vampires already does that, and this will help me get Metalcraft and take less damage to begin with. So let's go for that. I don't need another 5-drop, even if it is an artifact. I think I'll just take Twisted Image in case I want to run it or sideboard it in. I already have one in my... I think I have it hidden. Well, it's on color. Okay, I definitely don't need 2 Turnicides. I don't have Assault on yet. Blister Gub is fine for the sideboard, and so is the second one. Yeah, that's a nice little package to get late in the draft. Okay, so there's some decisions to make in the deck building. The deck is decent. Not my greatest deck of all time. I'm due for a loss. I've been seemingly unable to lose lately. I'm just going to sort of throw in everything I can see myself playing, but I'm going to make some cuts, of course. I have Precursor Golem, which is always good. So I'm at 27 cards right now. I'd like to get down to 23. I only have one 2-mana mirror. I would have liked another one. I had opportunities, but off-color one really wasn't the ideal. I almost don't want to run it if it's not on color. Well, maybe not to that extent, but it wasn't a good. Like, the only opportunity I had for that 2-mana mirror, I think, was like pick 3 of pack 3, and I think that's too early to take an off-color one. I had another opportunity late-ish in pack 2, but one 2-mana mirror, 1 Palladium mirror is pretty decent. So yeah, Clone Shell I don't know if it's making the cut. Let's do an artifact count, and then evaluate how important Metalcraft is. It's not going to be that important that I have to be afraid of. There we go. Cutting artifacts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 is quite a good amount if I don't cut any, but I think I am going to cut. Maybe the Nile Spellbomb, since it doesn't always do much. The Flight Spellbomb isn't going to do much either, but I'm definitely going to play more islands and swamps, first of all. And second, yeah, I do have some creatures that don't fly on their own. Whereas Nile Spellbomb, it's really only against Corpse Cur and Griffin. Maybe I have had it in an earlier draft be relevant against Mimic Vat, but those are the only cases. Okay, other cards to cut. So I think Clone Shell is going to get the cut. For as far as Metalcraft goes, it's Lumengrid Drakes and Vampires, all 3 of which are okay without Metalcraft. I'm going to have a hard time cutting any of these guys because I definitely need my 2 drops. Invisimancer is a potential cut. I need to cut 2 cards here, I think. So, Invisimancer potentially. Halt Order potentially. Oh, I like it better when I also have Stoic Rebuttal. And I have enough other instants, like I have, let's sort that out, but I have this is, I'll put a potential cut. Like when you have other instants to go with it as well, you're not necessarily doing nothing if they don't play an artifact. Ideally, you have both halt order and rebuttal up. That's not going to come up all the time, obviously. I don't want to cut any of these guys, or these guys, or really these guys. Flight Spell, I potentially could also cut Flight Spell. It does thin the deck, helps Metalcraft if I need the Metalcraft. Really, it's going to be tough to get, like, say, a turn 4 Looming Grid Drake with Metalcraft as it is, and Flight Spellbound is one of the only ways that that could happen. Not that it's needed, but it would be nice to keep that as a potential draw. So I think I've already convinced myself I can cut the Invisimancer. And depending on the matchup, I can, like, if I'm playing against swamps and I feel like I could race them with Blister Gloves, I'd also bring in the Invisimancer. Get 3 unblockable guys. I think 5 guys and 5 men is okay here. I definitely like Darksteel Sentinel in this deck. Maybe I leave Halt Order for the sideboard. I can also potentially cut Disperse, but it helps me recover from really aggressive starts. It's also good for, like, surprise turning off Metalcraft. Like, between Disperse and Halt Order, what's better main deck? And both sort of have their sort of archetypes that they're better against. Like, Disperse is definitely better against something like Infect, where Halt Order is not going to be very good. Disperse is fine against Metalcraft, but like, Halt Order is obviously better against just a random deck. I don't, like, that's not really either archetype. I don't know. They're gonna have artifacts. I mean, against an aggressive deck, Disperse is definitely better, because I'm not gonna be able to hold back Halt Order necessarily. Is there anything else I could cut? I kind of want both of them. I do think I like Wall of Tanglecord main. I'm down to 2 minutes. This is a tough one. Twisted Image is interesting with Precursor Golem, but that's not enough of a reason, is it? Really having a hard time with this one. I could cut